That is the biggest problem because whatever argument is thrown at these people, if they are of the mindset that they will believe regardless, that's the hurdle that I don't
And
think that you can overcome.
it's not unique to Christianity either. I mean, with Christianity, the early Catholic Church had no problem with the earth being the center of everything, and then it just reinterprets it to whatever it wants, right? Then you take a look at these Muslims who accosted P.C. Myers. They initially say, well, the Quran says that the bones form first and the muscle later, and that proves that the Quran is correct. And
It's
then
interesting that.
and then PZ comes up and says, "Well, actually, that's wrong. They form simultaneously." And he says, "Ah, yes, but that word in Arabic can mean at the same time. Therefore, this proves the Quran to be correct." I mean,
I'm glad you picked
be,
up on that because it seemed to me to be one of the most shameless shifts of positions I've ever seen.
it doesn't matter what
It was
reality says.
It was clarified that it is not at the same time. I mean, in the context, it means, and then. You have this bit and then like that. So.
If I may, it's interesting that given all of these interpretations and given all of these multiple ways to read this and the wealth of scientific knowledge that the Bible and the Quran and all of these magical books have, even the Magic Sandwich book, for example, they all, no predictions are ever made from them, right? It's always looking back. Once science has moved us forward, they look back and say, oh, you see, this word could potentially, one way, maybe mean this. Therefore, it was predicted back there, and then you scientists just found it. I mean, they never come up with it first, and I just think that that's something that's
it's everyone is a general after the battle.
And I think what I really object to is when people do read the Magic Sandwich book and they make the sandwich in accordance with the book and then turn around and say, well, it doesn't taste very nice. It's because they've not made it with the belief in the Magic Sandwich. That's
or some people will eat it and say, look, it doesn't cure cancer.
I actually, if I can make a comment, I wanted to thank whoever posted that PZ Myers, that little debate he had. I think it was in Dublin, I want to say, with the Muslims, because I can just send Christians links to that and say, look, they have the same arguments for their holy book, and point that out. And sometimes, that kind of shuts them up for a little bit. But I wanted to ask Thunderfoot a question because, and this is concerning, I guess, physics. And my question is, I recently launched a couple refutations against the tag argument and them asserting that logic is immaterial. Now, my argument was that we don't know of anything that's immaterial. Even our thoughts, as far as we know, are just chemical reactions and, electrical chemical reactions. So in that sense, they're physical. So when we talk about a logical statement, we're talking about a statement that conforms to reality as it is. If it wasn't a logical statement, it wouldn't conform to reality as it is. So, am I still there?
Yeah, you're still here. We can still hear you.
Yep. Okay. So my question is, Thunderfoot, would you agree with me that logic? I mean, because it can't be just, the law of identity. I know that's words on a page or coming out of your mouth, which is physical because it's vibration, and it's words that we associate meaning that have physical value. This computer exists and it can't not exist at the same time. We've observed that and we've articulated that in words on a page or audibly. So my point is, Thunderfoot, isn't logic then, since it is defining the way existence, physical existence behaves, isn't logic then physical? And we're just articulating that?
Logic's a model. That's all there is to it. It's a descriptive model of reality. The reason that we go for things like the law of non-contradiction is because we don't see things that exist and don't exist at the same time. If we did see things that exist and don't exist at the same time, then we would actually come up with a different model that wouldn't be called logic, something like Bogic or something, And you could argue that, a God, if it exists, would be an example of that sort of model, where it's so powerful that it can exist and not exist. Yeah,
right,
Schlogic. That's a good one. I like Schlogic.
But my question, Thunderfoot, is: am I correct in saying that because our words are physical? I mean, they are energy, and they are articulating a reality that is physical. Isn't it all really physical then?
Well, we have no example of something that is true.
Not.
Yeah, I mean, in that sense, you're right. That we have no examples of entities that actually don't have a physical presence. You know, you can the thing that numbers are a concept. You're right. Is that concept is actually held within the real world. We don't have any example of concepts that don't exist in reality in some form.
Correct. So it's just so you would say my argument is valid in that sense, right?
Well, I got no real problem with that.
Can I just pause there for a moment, James? I know that PCS is apparently messaging Thunder. He wants to come on the show. Have you heard anything from him, Thunder? Is he around? He's still not sent
He's ready when you are. I can drag him in whenever.
Well, why doesn't he not send... What is it about him? Why doesn't he just send a contact request? But we can drag him in. Okay. James, because it's now getting towards the end of the show, can I thank you very much? It's been very interesting to listen to you, and sure. I would certainly consider having you back on the show in the future if you'll be happy to do that.
Sure, no problem. Just let me know when, and all that stuff.
We will do, and thank you very much. I'm going to remove you now because we're going to see if we can get Venom Fang X in the call. Do you want to drag him in then, Thunder?